I think right now, as people are listening to this today, there's this huge opportunity, bigger than it was 2 or 3 years ago, because our market is starting to reach, I think, the tail end of a cycle. As the market slows down, I think a lot of those folks that have wanted to retire but have chosen not to are going to start to get out of the business. And so I think there's going to be some really amazing databases and agent businesses that change hands. There's this idea it takes too long to grow by referral. But that's because people have been thinking about referrals as one agent in Texas refers to you in New York, and then you have a friend in New York that refers to an agent in Portland, and you get one referral and do one deal, right? So that is hard to grow quickly that way. But if someone's handing you, say, a client list of 300 clients that all know and trust that agent that's retiring, you do that 2 or 3 times a year, you're growing your business way faster than you ever could through online or marketing, and you're doing it more effectively, better conversion rates, you're not spending as much money, it works way better.
What up, Masters? Welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery. And you know what? Happy now, okay? Whatever time it is, day, night, early morning, late night, makes no difference, afternoon, happy and now. My friends, special, I always say special, great interview this week with Nick Krautter. Nick wrote the book. Nick is a top real estate agent. He wrote a book called The Golden Handoff. And it's about, when you're ready to step out of the real estate business, transitioning that business so that you can continue earning income and capturing those referrals. The other thing he talked about too, which is the other side of that, is how do you get into relationship with the agents that are right now retiring? Because maybe your first thought was, well, I'm not even close to retiring, and that's perfect. So how do you get into the relationship with the people that are thinking about doing that now so you can help them to transition their business? It's a perfect book for just, again, getting into those relationships, looking to grow your business exponentially. And listen, guys, phenomenal. I know I actually went through this with my business. Didn't quite work because, I'm actually a year later, I'm going back into the business. However, you know what? Maybe that's because I didn't get Nick's book, to be honest with you. I'm actually kind of excited about going back into the business. That said, phenomenal read. Check it out. Listen to this episode. It's going to give you some really great ideas, and then go pick up the book, The Golden Handoff. All right, without my sponsors, we would not be able to do this podcast, so please check out Vulcan7.com for data. They have everything you need for sale by owners, expireds, circle prospecting. You can load your CRM in there. You can actually go load all the other agents in the MLS and talk to them about helping them leverage their business, right? Figure out who's retiring now. So whatever you want to do with it, you can check out their service. It's got the CRM built in, the dialer, everything you need as a listener of Path to Mastery. Try them out for 2 weeks for $49. Vulcan7.com/Path to Mastery. Check out the service for 2 weeks. Another opportunity for you is davidsfreebook.com. Go get yourself a free, that's right, FREE, yep, that's right, free copy of any book you like by just going to davidsfreebook.com. It's Audible, okay? You get a free book right now, reading Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, or just finished Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Great book. Another great book is Design Your Life. Reading that right now as well. Phenomenal book. So just some great opportunities out there. And finally, my friends, I am going back into the trenches. We just had a phenomenal webinar series, and we're going to be doing another one launching on, stick with me, I know this is going a little long, stick with me, October 3rd on sales call reluctance. And the reason I call it sales call reluctance, because it's not just call reluctance, not just picking up the phone. It's more than that. This is about the phone. It's about text. It's about sending emails. It's about connecting with people in public. Doesn't matter if you're walking up to somebody at a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts. And it's also about Facebook and social media, connecting with people. You're going to learn about those limiting beliefs and those 5 types, those 5 forms of reluctance that we all deal with in some capacity. So October 3rd, make sure you get signed up for that webinar. Go to listnow.us for more details. Listnow.us. Okay, there's some great opportunities. Enjoy Nick Krautter with The Golden Handoff. What's up, Masters? Welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery. And today we're with Nick Krautter. And Nick is the author of the book, The Golden Handoff. Funny, Nick, when I first, I called it the Golden Handcuff earlier because I think a lot of us are handcuffed to our real estate business. But you have a great strategy and also a book on how to sell a real estate business, right? An agent's business.
Yeah.
First, I appreciate you spending some time with us. And just a little bit about you. You're a top realtor since 2006 in the Portland, Oregon area. Avid golfer. I love that. I'll tell you, with this business, not always easy to golf, right? A writer, a reader, a talker. Okay, got it. I'm a talker myself. And still gets up early and excited about what each day holds. So, Nick, thank you for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, anything else, and about your book.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me on the show. I'm excited to talk today about the Golden Handoff and share some great resources and ideas with your audience of top producers. I got into real estate in a kind of sideways way, like a lot of folks. I was 2006 and I had just moved to Oregon from San Francisco, and I didn't know many people and was looking for something to do with a new career. I had worked in the music business, managing bands and producing music, which was, I could say, the best job to have in your 20s, but the worst job to have after your 20s. A couple friends and family members recommended I think about getting into real estate. I had been working with all kinds of different personality types and negotiating contracts and tours and record deals and things like that. Got into real estate 2006. I was right at the tail end of our boom market, and everyone was making money hand over fist. I was brand new and just showed up and worked my butt off, had great mentors, and kind of had a good launch and was doubling my business each year until the recession hit. And then we just fought hard to stay where we were and kind of keep clawing our way through the market and survived the recession just fine and came out swinging and built a big team on the tail end of that. Had up to 12 people in the team and we're doing 60 million in sales. I've been in business for 13 years in Portland at this point, which is pretty awesome. I never thought it would become this big. Now I've got my own real estate brokerage, just started a company called City and State Real Estate this year in Oregon and in Washington, and building that right now. 2012 is kind of a year my life changed in a big way because that's when the whole idea for the book, The Golden Handoff, started. Before that, the people I saw that were getting out of real estate were agents that just weren't successful, or people that didn't take it seriously, didn't show up, and didn't work hard. But in 2012, the recession had been going for 4 years at that point, 5 years. There's a lot of really good agents that started to fall off or get other jobs. And one of those people was an agent I looked up to very much, who had a very successful business for a long time. She went back into the nonprofit fundraising business. And I talk about her in the book. Her name is Renee. She was doing probably 8 to 10 million in sales a year on her own with one assistant. And she got out of the business. And then all of a sudden I was like, geez, there's some people that are really good that have great clients and great contacts that their people know them and trust them, but they're still choosing to get out of real estate. And I reached out to her and asked if I could help her clients. She already had picked a new agent that needed some help and offered it to him. 6 months later, it hadn't worked out. He wasn't following up with people, wasn't calling, wasn't confident when he was in appointments. And she came back to me and said, hey, do you think it's too late? And I said, well, the good news is most people don't move every 6 months. So most of your people haven't been reading your newsletter and don't even know what you're really doing because they're not moving, they're not buying, they're not selling. So let's see what we can do. And so we set up a program that's basically what became the book, which is a referral agreement for her whole database and an endorsement and marketing plan that we did together. We had a ton of success with it. She was making $3,000 or $4,000 a month on referral fees, and it helped me grow my business at a stage when it was hard to grow a business. And it was all referral business, which is the real key thing. Really good clients, and it was the business you want to do. It wasn't cold calls or internet leads. It was real people that were excited to see you and wanted to work with you because their old agent had introduced you and referred you. You know, you just get to start on day one helping them with being a realtor as opposed to selling yourself. And that's really fun.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks for sharing all that. That gives us a lot of context. You said you had a $60 million team and now you own a brokerage. So did you sell your business or did you convert that business into the brokerage? Like, what does that look like?
For me, I still am active in business development and management for my team. And so that's continuing. I don't do many of the meetings or transactions anymore on my own. I did that up until about a couple years ago. Now, you know, my success is through my team, and that's how we take care of all the clients I've worked with and the people I know. the brokerage just allows us to grow in a different way with agents that want to be part of what we're doing, which I think is pretty special, but don't necessarily want to be on my team. And that's something I wasn't able to do formerly. And so that was a big part of why I wanted to set up a brokerage, is to have a place where agents that I really admired, that I think run good businesses, can come and be a part of what we're doing, but bring their own teams or continue to work on their own businesses alongside of my team, but not as part of it.
Got it. Okay. So, I mean, you're still involved in sales. I mean, maybe not you directly, but you have a team of people that's still selling.
Yep.
And it sounds like you are able to acquire other agents' businesses. Is that right? Is that accurate? Or
Yeah, absolutely. And I think right now, as people are listening to this today, there's this huge opportunity, bigger than it was 2 or 3 years ago, because our market is starting to reach, I think, the tail end of a cycle. We're seeing different areas slow down. There's still boom cities. I know that there's a lot of places right now that are growing just as fast as they ever have. But I think that there's an opportunity in those areas that are seeing the market slow down, where there's agents that have been wanting to retire for a long time, but the market's been so good and the price has been going up and it's been so fast that they haven't wanted to get out of the business because it was too good and too easy. As the market slows down, I think a lot of those folks that have wanted to retire but have chosen not to are going to start to get out of the business. And so I think there's going to be some really amazing databases and agent businesses that change hands going forward that, you know, those people weren't really sellers until pretty recently.
I agree with you 100%. So, I mean, this is an opportunity for people that maybe are thinking about getting out of the business, but they don't just have to walk away with nothing. They can still continue to get referrals or some income from that business for the next, I don't know, I mean, I don't know if you want to go deep into how the program works. I mean, is that different, or is it pretty specific for everybody, or is it something that people negotiate? What does that look like?
So the program I use is what's in the book, and it's a 3-year referral agreement. The only thing the retiring agent has to do is keep a license in some state. It doesn't have to be the state you're in. Basically, the referral fee starts high and steps down. So it's a 30%, 20%, 10% referral fee over 3 years. If they send any new referrals over, you pay them on those. But after that, the database is owned by what I call the adopting agent. Now, there's people that go, oh, well, what if someone wants to do this or they do that? I'll tell you that most people are perfectly happy with that agreement. I get asked all the time if I've negotiated different deals, and so far I haven't. Now, if someone, say, wanted to change careers, but they wanted to still stay engaged with the community and they still wanted to be proactive about finding leads and connecting people, then sure. If they want to keep licensed for 5 years or 10 years and they want to send over 10 or 15 deals a year to you, keep paying them. Why not? I mean, that makes a ton of sense.
Sure.
So I think there's definitely examples and opportunities where it would make a ton of sense to work out a deal that's more long-term. But you got to be careful. I mean, you have a cost of doing business. It's not free to sell real estate. So if your referral fees are too high or you're giving too much away, it might put you in a position where you don't have enough profit to be sustainable.
Sure.
We looked at our expenses really hard here over the last couple of months and made a lot of cuts to systems and tools that we were paying for that really we weren't using or that weren't returning value. It's a good time to look at trimming the fat when you get a market that starts to slow down. You don't want to wait until it's already happened because you'll be burning through money real quick.
Yeah. And now with, you know, what Zillow's doing and some of these other companies, I mean, the reality is they're going to be charging you a 35% referral as well going forward, right? And I think most agents don't realize it, but the reason that they're doing that, a big part of it is so that they can control the data and, you know, get all the clients' contact information because you have to use their portal.
Yep.
So there's a lot of changes coming to the industry itself. I mean, how do you think, well, there's 2 things I want to ask you. That's a question I want to get into.
Sure.
I definitely want to get into the direction. The industry's being disrupted. We know that. There's a lot of changes coming. So how's that going to affect this? But the other side, I talk to so many agents on a regular basis that are just like, yeah, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm done. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to retire. Why do people have that mindset?
I think there's a lot of fear in the market that these direct buyers and these tech companies are going to completely displace brokers. Now, I think that they will displace mediocre brokers. I think they absolutely will run over and take that business using a system like the Golden Handoff, where it's about real relationships and real connection and real trust. Insulates you much more than if your business is just about cold calling and marketing and buying leads. And I'm not critical of that. I think if that's how you run your business and it's successful and that's what you want to do, that's fine. There's a million ways to be successful in real estate. They all work. We all get to pick which one we like to do the best. The reason that referrals have been kind of left in the dust with the more ambitious brokers and teams is because there's this idea it takes too long to grow by referral. But that's because people have been thinking about referrals as one agent in Texas refers to you in New York, and then you have a friend in New York that refers to an agent in Portland, and you get one referral and do one deal, right?
Sure.
So that is hard to grow quickly that way. But if someone's handing you, say, a client list of 300 clients that all know and trust that agent that's retiring, you do that 2 or 3 times a year, you're growing your business way faster than you ever could through online or marketing. And you're doing it more effectively, better conversion rates. You're not spending as much money. It works way better.
I get that. But I guess my question, maybe I didn't ask it right, is I think there's a lot of agents that and I don't know, you know the numbers better than I do because this is your business, but half the people I talk to, Nick, are just like, yeah, I'm just done. I don't want to deal with referrals. I'm going to walk. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm just getting out of this business. Why such a closed mindset? If you talk to 100 agents, how many of them are open to doing this business with you?
So I would say if you can present this idea clearly as something that's easy and simple for that retiring agent, I'd say 95% of them will do it. Now, I'll say this, 95% of agents right now don't do anything with it because this idea still isn't well known. This book just came out a couple years ago. The whole reason I wrote this book, and I did it during the busiest point in my career when I was still selling and building the team, and I had just bought an office building that we moved into. I was flipping houses. I was buying investment. I was going crazy doing all kinds of stuff. At the exact same time, I was writing and promoting this book. And the reason I committed to finishing this project was because I interviewed team leaders and managing brokers. I interviewed CEOs of brokerages all over the country and outside of the country about this because I helped a handful of agents in Portland do this, where I took over 5 or 6 businesses here and we had a ton of success with it. I was calling people to find out, hey, is there a model I can follow? Is there a system I can use to do this that someone else has already come up with or published a book about? And the answer from everyone was, no, there's no system. There's no book. There's no program. There's nothing. If you've done this 6 times, you're the guy that knows the most about it in the world. And I couldn't believe it. So I reached out to all these people and it was true. I was it. So I decided to document what I've been doing and write a book about it and explain every step and the reasons why you do it. So my experience is when I explain this to an agent, they are almost always on board to do it because I can show them, hey, here's an agent that did 6 million in sales. We took over their business. We did 6 million in sales with it that next year. That agent I'm talking about, we sent him $50,000 in referral fees in 1 year. And it worked great. I mean, it was totally worth the effort. Now, I think the reason that some agents are just like, I'm over it, is they don't know that there's a way to do this that's not complicated. You don't need technology. It can be very simple if you want it to be.
So let's say I decide I want to do this with you. Am I going to now call all the people in my database and introduce them to you? Is that the handoff?
The process that we use is there's kind of a couple steps. If the retiring agent is up to it, I ask them to call their top people. And I don't mean top 1,000 people. I mean the top 20, 30, top 50 maybe. If they've got a really big business, there might be more than that. They don't have to, though. If they say, you know what, I really don't want to do that, I'm so over it, I can do it for them. It works a little better if they call and just say, hey, I want to let you know I'm decided to retire, but I found a great agent who's going to be taking over for me. And if you need anything, you can call them and they're going to stay in touch with you and keep you up to date in the market. And if you need a roofer or a plumber, you can call them. They're going to help you out.
I love that.
It works better if that retiring agent calls their best clients and does that. If they don't want to do it, they don't have to. So that would be ideally step 1. Step 2 is I have a letter, and any of your listeners can go to goldenhandoff.com and sign up, and I will email them the script, the contract, the marketing materials, and the letter that we use. And I also have a calculator on the website you can use. All you need to know is how much the average commission is and how many repeating referral clients an agent has, and you can tell exactly how much that business should be worth to you and how much it's worth to them in referral fees. That's a great tool that we just developed this year. It just went on the website basically 6 months ago. So that's a great new resource people can check out at goldenhandoff.com. I wanted to make note of that so that when I tell you there's a letter that you can download in Word and you can change it, put your logo on it, change it however you want, that we send out for the retiring agent on their letterhead to their client list, and then we email it to them. We have them send it from their email, but we set it up for them. And then once the clients have gotten the letter and an email and the top clients have gotten a call from their retiring agent, then me or my team will call and introduce ourselves. And there's a very simple script we use that works very, very well. It's a very warm call when we're calling people, and we get a lot of engagement. We set appointments as we're doing that, and we set the stage for building that relationship as we go forward for people that don't need to do anything right then.
That's great, man. I heard you actually on Pat Hyman's show, and as soon as I heard it, I'm like, that's a brilliant idea. So that's actually why I reached out to you. I think this is fantastic.
Thank you.
Honestly, yeah, I feel like everybody should be doing this. And I think you're right. I think not a lot of people know it exists. And it's like you said, if you can explain the value proposition the right way, why wouldn't everybody do it, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say is the best way to approach an agent that you think is ready to retire or maybe ready to walk away from their business?
First of all, I think the simplest way to think of people that are selling their business is to think of them like you would a home seller. Like sometimes you reach out to someone and they're ready to go. And sometimes you reach out to someone and they might not be ready to move for 4 or 5 years when kids finish school or something happens, they retire. Everyone has different reasons. So just when you think of it conceptually, people that are retiring and selling their businesses in real estate are just like home sellers. That makes it, I think, easy to process how you treat them. The best way I found to approach people is just to say, hey, I've admired your business and your career, and we did a couple of deals together, and I really enjoyed working with you. And I just wanted to ask you, what is your plan for your business when you're done selling? And then just shut up and let them talk. Because what you'll find is most people don't have a plan. Like you said, most of the agents you're talking to are just saying, I'm done, I'm out, I don't want to do anything, I'm just going to walk away. The reason people do that is because they think they would have to build a team or go through some big process to successfully hand off their business to someone and get the referral fees for it. If they go, I don't know, I'll probably just refer stuff to my friends. It's like, well, that won't work because as soon as people know you're retired, they already know 5 other realtors. And if they're not going to bug you, they're going to call the other realtors they already know. So you need to hire someone to stay in touch with your people and be proactive. Otherwise, the business dries up and the referrals go away. You're just picking a good agent that you trust that has a good business, and you're doing a referral agreement. You're introducing them to your adopting agent, and then the adopting agent just has to step up and treat those people like they would their own clients. Give them calls, send them the newsletters, invite them to the client parties, connect with them on social media, whatever it is you're doing, just wrap your arms around those people just like you do your own clients and just take great care of them, and they'll be loyal and work with you, and it'll be a very profitable thing for your business. And it's way more money probably to that retiring agent than they believe they can get if someone's working it.
Yeah, and obviously you have a good system in place. That's why you're effective with this, where I think a lot of the agents I talk to, they're, oh, yeah, this other agent in my office is going to handle it for me, or my buddy, Realtor John, is going to take care of it. And those guys, the reality is they probably don't have a system in place. They may call once, if that, and that's the extent of it, right? But it takes a lot more than that for this to be effective.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. This is like a get rich slowly scheme. This is not a list 100 houses in 2 weeks kind of deal, but this is sustainable. And when you look in your market, typically the agents that have been there the longest, that have been through ups and downs, they might not have the biggest gross numbers, but I bet you they have the best net numbers, are the people that are client focused and just put one foot in front of the other, and they just stay in touch and they take care of people and they do the right thing. You know, they play well with others, and those are the agents that are going to survive as more and more people choose to do direct sales or work with discount tech-focused brokers.
Listen, this really helps to keep this podcast going.
Get a better deal if they work with that agent than if they don't. At the end of the day, that's what people want.
For all the data you need for making phone calls, a dialer built in, a CRM built in, a calendar system. If you need data for expireds, for sale by owners, you want to pull your sphere of influence, check out Vulcan 7 for 2 weeks for only $49. Check out the service. If you love it, keep with it. Vulcan7.com/path to mastery. Listen, free books, okay? Who doesn't love a free book? If you love podcasts, you're going to love Audible. It's audio books. As a matter of fact, I would get yourself a copy of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind right now. Just go to davidsfreebook.com. Yep, they're going to ask you to sign up. But here's what you do. You sign up, And then you just set a reminder in your calendar. So if you don't want to stick with Audible, I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't want to, then just cancel before your card is ever charged. Okay, so you get, again, a free audiobook from Audible, davidsfreebook.com. And finally, putting together an amazing program webinar series on sales called Reluctance, which starts October 3rd. Just go to listnow.us to check it out. Anything you need to know about limiting beliefs, about call reluctance, fear of rejection, fear of success. We're covering them all, my friends. October 3rd, check it out. Listnow.us. You rock. So let's role play, all right? I'd love to have you role play this with me. So you're calling me. I'm a client of, we'll say, David Hill. David retired now. You're following up with me. What does that conversation sound like?
Perfect. Hi, is this David?
Yes, it is.
Hey, David, this is Nick Krautter with City and State Real Estate. And you probably got a letter, but I promised your old realtor, David Hill, I'd give you a call and introduce myself and see if you had any real estate questions or needs that I could help with today.
Yeah, no, I got the letter. I was actually surprised that David left the business. But yeah, no, well, I appreciate you calling, but no, I'm pretty good right now.
That's awesome. David did a great job with his clients, and everyone I've talked to, loves where they're living and are really happy with the house they got. So I'm glad to hear that. I wanted to let you know that our market here in town is up 10% over last year, and the inventory is only about 3 months. So we've got a really strong market, a seller's market, and I just wanted to make sure you know that. And I'm going to be staying in touch. You'll get our newsletter in the email once a month, and you'll get a quarterly mailer that we send out about the market. And I want to let you know you're always welcome to call me if you have any questions or you need a referral for a plumber. I'll be here to help you.
All right, cool. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind if I need anything.
Awesome. Well, I just wanted to check in, and I have to ask you, as you're not making any moves lately, but is there anyone else that is thinking of making a move where we could help them out?
I can't really think of anybody right now, but yeah, if, like I said, if I think of anybody, I'll certainly, can you guys send me your information, send me your card and stuff?
Absolutely. I'll be happy to drop that in the mail. I've got you're at 123 Main Street. Is that still correct?
It is. Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks so much for your time today, and I appreciate you taking my call and look forward to staying in touch and helping you in the future.
All right, cool. I mean, that was pretty easy, right? I didn't tell you we were going to do that, so I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, of course.
Putting you on the spot a little bit there. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple call. I mean, I could have gone other directions with it, but I think it's a pretty cut and dry call.
Yeah, so the script I have in there kind of walks through that, but the secret sauce is you as the client, right, that I'm calling on has already gotten an email and a letter and maybe a call from your retiring agent. And in all of that stuff, it says, hey, Nick's going to call you, Nick's going to call you, Nick's going to call you. So then when you do it, you're keeping that promise. And I even say, hey, I promised your realtor, David Hill, that I would give you a call and check in and see if you had any questions or needs I could help with. So you're not asking them to list their house or buy something right away. You're just keeping your promise to the agent that they worked with, that they liked, that you're going to stay in touch. So, and when you said you didn't need anything, I made sure I dropped a couple tidbits about the market. So have a couple stats. That establishes, one, your character, right? You showed up and you did what you said you were going to do. And two, your competence. So you understand the real estate market as a professional. And then let them know what to expect going forward. You're going to get emails from me. You're going to get a letter. I'll stay in touch and call you. And then you always want to ask for a referral because you never know. Oh, yeah, no, we don't need anything. And then you say, oh, who do you know that might be moving? It's like, oh, our neighbors are moving. They're moving in 3 months. I don't know if they have a realtor. It's like, oh, I'd love to meet them. Can you introduce us? That comes up all the time. So I think it's always good to ask for that, as long as you do it in a, friendly way. You're not real aggressive. I think people don't mind answering that question.
I always like to ask for an indirect referral, because if they need help, they're going to tell you. So you just, hey, who do you know? Do you know anybody else that could use some services right now?
Yeah.
Anybody buying, selling? And usually they'll tell you if they do. And if they need it, they'll usually tell you. How do you deal with the Zillows and all that other stuff going on and the Redfins? And, when you're calling these guys and they're like, well, yeah, if we need anything, we'll check out Zillow and Redfin and things like that. Do you deal with that as well?
I think all of us do. And I think, you're going to win some and lose some. There's some people that no matter how good your value proposition is and how good you can prove the results you get for people, they still only see the commission and they only see the list price when they're thinking about what they're going to get out of their deal. That's always been the case. Those people, before they had Zillow, they would just buy a for sale by owner, or these direct buyers are the same as a for sale by owner. It's just more systematized.
Yeah.
And it's more fancy. It's the same idea. And the thing is, those direct buyers are going to have to sell those houses to consumers at some point. There's two ways that goes, in my opinion. Either those companies have so much of Wall Street's money that they can burn, that they can really put a dent in the market by overpaying and losing money or breaking even, that the home sellers go, well, geez, I'll just do this direct sale because it's easier and I'm getting as much money. But the only way that that's sustainable long term, when they run out of investor money, is they have to make a profit. And the way you make a profit is basically they're just flipping the houses. So the only way you make money doing that, if you're not going to remodel them, is you pay too little for it when you buy it, and then you sell it for market value or above market value when you sell it. I don't know which way it's going to go, honestly. And I think their timing's terrible. I think that they're going to be doing this in a market that's going to be flat or declining in a lot of places. And I think that they're going to have to either lose money or so severely underpay that it won't really be competitive with a well-marketed home with a good real estate broker. But the flip side is, if their margins are working for them and they are profitable, I mean, how many people are going to be excited to see the house they just sold for $200,000 selling 2 weeks later for $250,000? I mean, I think people are going to do that and they might regret it. Maybe it should have just taken a little bit more time and effort and hired a broker and gotten that profit for them. Because for most people, most of their wealth and equity, period, is in real estate. And so to use an app to sell that, I'm suspicious that I think people are smarter than that. I don't think they're going to want to roll the dice on a new app or website with the most important thing that they own. And again, it remains to be seen. If they're burning Wall Street money all day long and paying full price retail for these properties, well, that's a whole different deal than if they're doing it as a real business, in my mind, where they're paying 10% or 15 or 20% less than market value. And then ironically, those companies hire a realtor to sell it for them so that they can get full price, which tells you something about which system works better right now, which is hiring a realtor and having it marketed properly. It's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of people talking about this right now, and that's my opinion. They're burn up a bunch of investor money and lose money and overpay for stuff just to get in the market, which might be good for those individual sellers, or they do it as a business and underpay to make it convenient and then sell it full retail, use a realtor and take a couple of months to sell it.
Sure.
Yeah, can you imagine you sell a house to one of those tech companies for $300,000 and they sell it for $350,000 the next day? I mean, that's got to make you feel a little sick to your stomach to see that.
Yeah, well, I think it's a convenience thing for some, and the reality is, we both know it's, for the most part, it's a funnel anyway, right? Because a lot of people aren't going to take the offer that Zillow gives them, and then what's Zillow going to do? Zillow's going to say, okay, one of our agents are going to contact you.
Yeah.
So either way, it's kind of like those signs they used to put out on the streets, right? We'll sell your house for cash.
Right.
A lot of those actually were investors, but then you had also real estate teams putting them up as well, which, they knew the majority of the people weren't going to sell for that price, but yet they would be able to get a listing if they knew their scripts and dialogue and how to communicate with people, right?
Sure.
So there's a big part of that too. And the other thing I believe is, and you said it, there's a lot of money to be burnt up right now. It was said recently that Zillow's on a 30-year plan. These tech companies are thinking about, the average person's going to buy 5 to 7 houses. So if they have to burn some money now to get those people in their system, that's what they're doing. And that's what a lot of the experts are saying right now. So it's just interesting because most real estate agents, they're thinking about, I want to sell one house to this person. It's a different mindset. So I don't know. I'm not Nostradamus, as you know. There are definitely some changes. I've been doing real estate for 16 years now, and I've gone through a couple cycles just like you.
Yeah.
This is different, man. This is definitely different. So we're going to have to see how it plays out.
Our world's changing, right? I mean, when you and I started real estate, there was no iPhones, there was no DocuSign, there was no IDX systems. We didn't have GPS in cars on our phones.
Mm-hmm.
There was no Uber, Lyft. There was none of that stuff. There wasn't all the different travel websites. All that stuff was baby brand new stuff back then. So there's been a lot of changes. And I think that this new wave is different because it's more direct to consumer, whereas before it was just trying to share more information, like take the RMLS information and put it on a bunch of different apps. Now they're taking that and instead of just selling the leads, they're trying to take the leads.
Yeah.
And so they're jumping into different businesses and trying to displace different business models. But it's funny, I still see taxis, and every once in a while I'll still take a taxi instead of a Lyft because I'm at the airport and it's just honestly easier to take a taxi and pay the extra $5 or whatever it is to get home when I'm traveling than wait for my Lyft driver to circle around the queue 10 times.
Yeah.
I think that there's a life for realtors still here.
Sure. They still have travel agents, right? They're not all gone, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But, the majority are, unfortunately. I think you nailed the fundamentals to this. Right now, it's about being in touch with your clients. It's letting them know you're there. It's bringing value. It's having those client events. It's getting value to them, information on the neighborhoods, right? That's the fundamental stuff. And we can continue doing that. And that's the only way we're going to combat this right now. 5 years from now, who knows how this is going to look. I love what you guys are doing. I think it's brilliant. What do you think mentally are going to be the biggest challenges with people that are listening to this right now? Like, what are they going to say? When they hear this interview, in their mind, what's that little self-talk that's telling them not to do this? Or is it something that's telling them to do it? What are your thoughts on that?
Sure. No, I get that question. And I think if you're looking to implement this and grow your business, the biggest question I get from people, the negative self-talk is, oh, well, I don't want to ask someone if they're going to retire because they might be offended or they might get mad. Well, unless you're rude about it, they're not going to get mad at all. And I can tell you this, any of your listeners here today that are thinking about implementing this strategy, there aren't a lot of people doing it. So you're not competing with a lot of other agents yet. 5 years from now, I think most people will know about this. And so it'll be a part of a lot of people's businesses. Right now, it's still pretty new. So if you're talking to agents in your market at your brokerage that are phasing down or getting out of the business, ask them what their plans are with their business and tell them that there's a very simple plan that you would love to help implement for them and take care of their clients. Because it isn't just about me growing my business or that agent selling their business and getting referral income. It's also about making sure those clients are taken care of. And if you talk to an agent that goes, well, geez, I've made plenty of money and I've got all these rentals and I've got this, and that, and I don't need the money. We'll just say, hey, what kind of a difference would it make for you to be able to give $50,000 more a year to charity or to your church or to start a scholarship fund or to provide low-income housing that's desperately needed in every city right now in the country? So even for the people that don't need money, they can still use it for good. And that's how I would approach it if I'm looking to grow my business. And I think that's the big fear people have is it's going to be too hard or take too much time or that the other agents won't be interested. The people get out of the business because they don't know there's an option to do something different. And so if you can just show them, hey, there's this option of retiring and it's not complicated and you can do it quickly and easily and it's well worth it.
The other thing I can think of, though, as I'm listening to you is the agents that are going to think, well, my clients are not going to be interested in working with anybody else. Because how many agents feel like, oh, my clients are only going to work with me? Do you guys come up against that a lot?
Yeah, you're reading my mind because that's the number one reason why retiring agents have trouble with this idea or with picking someone because they think, oh my God, my clients love me. We're soulmates. They could never possibly work with anyone else. Well, here's the reality. Those people's clients, a lot of them are working with other people. They do refer to other agents. They know other agents. And if that retiring agent got hit by a bus leaving work the next day, do they think that none of those people are ever going to change houses again or ever buy or sell an investment property again? I mean, that's ridiculous. They might not get to work with someone they feel is as good or have the same connection, but they're going to figure it out. And they already know another agent they'd probably be happy to work with. The reality is we are all replaceable. And this is a system where you can pick the person that replaces you, and you can pick someone that you believe is going to do a good job and take care of your clients and be honest and ethical. And you can pick someone that will pay you referral fees, and you can make a good amount of money after you're done selling.
Love it. All right, I got one more question, man. What is the number one thing agents can do to increase the value of their business?
Number one thing, we talked about it in a lot of different ways today, is make sure you keep a good database that is updated of all your clients so you know who your people are and you can stay in touch with them and grow your business. My new brokerage is founded entirely on knowing your people, growing your business, and winning your future. And it starts with knowing who your clients are. And that starts with building and maintaining a really good database and keeping it up to date.
Love it, man. So how do our listeners get in touch with you? I think you mentioned the site earlier, but you want to throw it out there again?
Yeah, goldenhandoff.com. There's a bunch of great resources, other interviews, podcasts. I update that. There's a calculator you can use to figure out the value of a business to a retiring agent and also to an adopting agent. And then if you scroll down and sign up for the newsletter, I'll send you copies of scripts and dialogues, the contract and the letter and the marketing pieces we use. And they're all editable documents. So you can put your logo and name on everything and you don't have to start from scratch.
Oh, that's great. Appreciate that, man. So obviously you just gave them a great idea for obviously increasing the value. We talked about a lot today. What would you say if there's like one thing the people listening to this take from today? What do you want them to take from listening to this last 42 minutes today?
The one thing I would say is if you are going to retire, take the time to find someone to take over your business, if only for your client's sake. And if you're looking to grow your business and you like this idea, just write down the names of 5 agents whose businesses you admire that you would love to help those clients and reach out to them and ask them today, hey, I've always admired your business and really like you. And I just want to know, do you have a plan of what you're going to do with your business when you're done selling? Start the conversation now because you'll be shocked at how many of those people have no plan.
If you know me, you know health and nutrition is number one.
Hey man,
and
that's why I'm
thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Good stuff.
Listen, in my opinion,
Awesome. Well,
these are the best products on the planet, guys. You get what you're supposed to get, right? I use the products for health. I use the products for energy. I use the products for wellness. So we have all the different lines from Spark, starting your day with a great energy shot all the way to pre-workout. It's whatever your goals are, right? It's whatever your goals are. You can check out the products at www.livelongersmarter.com. That's my website. Or reach out to me, and I'd love to have a 30-minute or, anywhere from 15 to 30-minute conversation with you, just talking about your health and nutrition goals and what I can do to help you achieve those goals. So again, products, energy line, or wellness line, whether it's joints, you're getting up there in the age, you just want to take care of yourself. I'll tell you, one of the greatest compliments I get is people, you say, wow, you look amazing. I cannot believe you are the age you are. Weight loss. I've helped lots of people, guys, lose weight, not just lose it, but keep it off with the products. And the cool thing is, I'd say 75% of the people who start with our products, they continue using our products even after they initially tried them, which has been amazing. And strength, if you're into bodybuilding, then hey, Rich Fronin, okay? I don't know if you know who Rich Fronin is. He's an advocate for Advocare as well. So amazing products. You can see us. We're featured on NASCAR, professional soccer, college basketball, college football, Men's Health magazine last month. These are the real deal, guys. LiveLongerSmarter.com is the website, or reach out to me if you, like I said, if you want to have a personal conversation with me, just send me an email. In the subject line, just put Advocare products, and I'd love, like I said, schedule a 15 to 30-minute call with you to talk about your health and nutrition goals. Guys, you rock. Live longer, smarter. And as Gary Keller eloquently said, if you don't take care of your body, where are you gonna live? You rock.
You are listening to One More Sale with your host, David I. Hill, author of the Sales Playbook. Get your copy at www.thesalesplaybook.net.